Immerhin wurden sie im Vorfeld von den Chartbreakern Eiffel 65 oder 65 zu richtiger Stunde gebracht.
Eiffel 65 coming out full line on clear. All right now.
Your world in the como pa rumbear, pa pasarla caliente. Toda mi gente no favorece el sol, tu bronceado y el calor. No puede estar mejor. Suma. Está como pa rumbear, pa bailar lo caliente, del pali de frente.
Eiffel 65 coming out full line on clear. All right now.
Your world in the world where there's nothing wrong. Your world in the world where you feel at home. You know this world will never let you down. Your world in the world where it never rains. Your world in the world where you put your friends. You know this world will never let you down. Your world in the world.
Welcome back to the EHFEEI, new activism wavelength of the future, hence why it's 2015, the year of the sky car and the year of the hoverboard. You guys should be proud. The new century started out with television shows that were the best of comedies. South Park. We all know how much fun everyone can get with that, especially me.
Later there was Rome. The most inspiring of series HBO got after there used to be The Sopranos. We all know how that ended with the song that was featured in the musical film Rock of Ages that came out in 2012.
I'll use my regular voice, I'm sorry. One of my talents. I did voices for a living, actually. A long time ago. Don't Stop Believing from the group Journey. It wasn't until later on that we started to come out with shows to the generations that like to advertise, such as Confessions of a Teenage Daughter, to teen moms, and more along the lines like it that should not be aired on TV at all. That makes others more prone to and sets a bad example on the new generation of societies booming all around the globe, making them want to do just that. It is an unethical and perverted misbehaving socio-economical class of families that can't handle their own teenage daughters. Later on, we get some show about a high school girl, Homeland, person of interest, and a Netflix show called Orange is the New Black. If anyone is smarter than the Republic, they can tell you that the whole Homeland thing is all made up. Ever since the 9/11 attacks, former President George Bush invented the idea to have something called Homeland Security. This is actually a 2013 article, so bear with me. Retarded enough with a low IQ, as in his historic files, George Bush's historic files, he didn't realize that this is what the CIA does. Who gives a shit about Homeland Security? Where Donald Rumsfeld should have been demoted to an opposite career motive back then. The whole show Homeland these days, if that was the case, should have been changed to the title American Intelligence. Although poorly thought out, Homeland was about the misuse of governmental agents being in the wrong places seeking out terrorist threats. Featuring Claire Danes. Claire Danes with an outstanding performance as HBO's original film Temple Grandin, and portrayed in films such as Terminator 3. She was a lot better than those. As an actress like her, she can do anything worth keeping as a reward. When it came to Homeland, that show went far too deep into making the public paranoid about the government's foreign police program. Person of Interest was nothing compared to Homeland. Person of Interest is more about how the NSA is watching over every American, spying on them, making sure that no one is under threat, and especially about those who are planning on taking on America with their ideas that can improve within the government's special interest. This was full out a conspiracy theory of what the writers thought the government does. First of all, two projects were done about that long before that show was even around. One from Dan Brown, where his novel was called Digital Fortress. I'm reading that right now. And the other being that there was that fictional film based on Philip K. Dick's short story, The Adjustment Bureau, that featured Matt Damon in the film along with other known actors and actresses. Maybe the makers of the show didn't know that was already done before as a novel and a fictional project. This doesn't really happen today. Like, if it did, me, I'll be held for governmental interest based on my knowledge of climate changes and especially the research I have. Even though better shows are rising, slower than imagined, like Modern Family, Hannibal, Da Vinci's Demons, Cash Cab, and shows on science raise more hype, awareness, and informing to the public, even though for those who have digital cable. Encore seems to do it better than Miramax, with their shows that they air like Banshee and Strike Back. I hope Jackie Chan warns them that it was his original title back in the 90s when it came to his film Jackie Chan Strikes Back. He is the only one that does it best. Big fan of him. Encore's Da Vinci's Demons is very much of the like in a historic, informal, and riveting context. It reminds you when it was like during the time of HBO's original Rome. This is all about Leonardo da Vinci now, my greatest granduncle. For you Dan Brown fans out there who enjoy both the novel and the film The Da Vinci Code. Tom Hanks investigated as Harvard symbologist Robert Langdon, and now Tom Riley investigates as the early precursor to Charles Darwin, and John Scopes as Leonardo da Vinci. Enjoy the story of a lifetime that takes you behind the paintings and the stories that Leonardo gives you, even about the Vitruvian Man, and what he wrote around that image, as well as the events that took place during that period in time. Da Vinci's Demons takes you through the early parts of his life where he is in his mid to late 20s to his 30s, and into the precursors that lead up to the investigations of his paintings in both the novel and the film The Da Vinci Code. It is very interesting of what was mentioned in the first season, how it kicked off with his inventions of flight and a robotic hand-cranked bird to some of his earliest works of the human body. Modern Family has gripped up. They are the next best comedy after the 1990s show Married with Children. Bet you all remember that. Modern Family has inspired